Makes you wonder, was it worth it? And on over to users and threats. You've seen a lot of content of them over the weekend here. Users, of course, talking about some of his favorite drops on the map. This time, no playing none of the likes. He's over at Condo Canyon here on the hunt, looking for the control here. Oh no, time's ticking. That was his wall, and now his elimination as well. Nice little edit course there, but Threats goes and snipes up the Elim. Either way, though, 6-point swing for them. Great way for them to kick off game number 2.
Two teams look like they're going to rotate into Condo Canyon there, though. And if we're looking at the player count here, 85 players alive. We had 94 players alive going into the first Storm Surge last game. So a lot of teams switching up here. And that's what I was talking about last game, right? A lot of these teams, they're not sure what to expect, you know, because, yeah, it's a set lobby, but a lot of players that you aren't necessarily used to seeing. Sneaky here. Going to be making sure that he doesn't re-see the duo, Dusky Bot, not letting the reboot ram just get used for free. He's going to be applying the pressure here. He's got 7 minis to work with, but only 11 builds. And this can be one of those awkward situations in the early game where you kind of just stare at each other through a bunch of builds, but Dusky is not interested in that. Going to be going for the build battle here and taking a striker. Pump shotgun shot right to the face for it. He's going to be falling out here. Gets a free tag there as that player falls out. It's going to be looking for a repeat play. Knock him out again. Sneaky going for the shot again, but no. Just going to keep knocking out and just going for it over and over again. And Dusky is more interested in the piece control. Now Sneaky going to be taking advantage of the 7 minis that he does have. He's got to be careful though. Only 4 builds left to work with.
That was actually very, very clever by Dusky there. He actually took the wall and then edited it so the builds can break, just denying one more piece if that player would have fell in. You know, you got to give credit where credit's due. That was very, very smart. Tries to go for the cone here. He's not trying to have this big build here. It's already brought a lot of attention, but lets his guard down and gets shut down. Dusky, the veteran in this fight of the 2, wins that one out here. Dusky, okay, so he buys himself another opportunity here, another chance to stay in the game here.
There we go, and hopefully they can pick up a lot of loot from the Sanctuary that is left. Depends on what was used, but Muzz and Avery actually find him. 2 eliminations all spawn onto Larson and Smite, and we saw that Larson and Smite were given cold incentive to run for their money before. And here we can see how Dusky actually ended up picking that early elimination up and why it was a 1v1 situation to begin with. You know, Dusky just working his angles, doing what he does.
Take a look here. NRG's day inside the box. That's a big tag right there. The man is letting loose here. He's already got that. This is an epic SMG in place. This is perfect. The kind of spot he wants to be in. Only racking up 7 points in that last game. We saw the downfall. It came down to the Surge, and this is why all those teams, it seems like all the teams that had Surge issues last round are like, hey guys, listen, we got to fight here. We got to take these battles a little bit earlier. Uh-oh.
Careful, though.
Very, very bad. Yeah, it's very bad for Clix and Day here as they let their guard open to the side. If that team opens up, there it is. They're going to find big tags. Day loses all shield, huge cracks. So does Clix now. Pressure coming in from the duo they were chasing originally now, too. All of a sudden, tables have been turned.
Yeah, they solidify here. They get a little bit of a reset. I think they have plenty of heals to heal up, and Clix is using those mats that he has. Got a lot of hard mats. 400 brick, 500 metal, so they'll be able to stay safe here. And as you can see, the orange arrows on the map look like they're disengaged with the web shooters. That was crazy for Clix and Day, almost a detrimental situation because they had one team in the back of them and another team sneaking up on top. But they're mechanical, they're well aware. They regrouped very quickly, and they're going to be both back up to basically full HP, reassess the situation, make sure that all their angles are clear. And yeah, he's reconfirming that these duos are just disengaging. Ooh, sliding off there.
I was going to say, it looked like he almost fell victim to the same mistake as last time, not putting his guard up, looking at the team that's to his east. There it is. Ooh. Turns and burns. Big tags there, whites as well. So might be a switch of focus, switch of target here. But again, he's got problems on both sides. Now, these guys start to take this personal. Could be bad, but Day seems like he finds a big, big crack in Clix. Tries to go all the way on in. It's not looking too hot, though, as now, once again, has to burn through another armored wall. He is using these so early. These are the types of utilities, the types of items you really want to save for endgame, for when you are in dire situations. But the fact that he's using them this early is showing how much he's taking this battle seriously. He's willing to throw it all on the table there and burn these big, big items.
Yeah, while that was going down and Clix was in that little bit of a detrimental situation, Day was off to the side and actually picked up a knock on the nose in there and finds the Elam there after Clicks does a mechanical job to just get out of that situation, instantly reacting to any move that his opponent made. That was really, really well done by Clicks. Give Day the room that he needed to work an angle there and pick up a quick elimination. And again, we're just seeing a lot of aggression in the early game. Not a lot of players liking how Storm Surge went for them in that first game, so they're switching it up, going for some early elims. And Day and Clicks, while they only have 1 elimination, they probably have enough damage to have about 3 or 4 because they have been in multiple fights so far. So they are probably going to be chilling. And Scented and Cold here, listen, they're my prediction, and let me run you through why I picked them, right? So last weekend, qualifiers 1 and 2, they landed at Sleepy Sound. Did not go well at all. Towards the end of qualifier 2, they were like, let's try out Covert, right? And that didn't necessarily work out. You know, they had 1 day to think about it. But coming into this weekend, this Cash Cup a couple days ago, they actually got 4th, right? And that was Landon at Covert. So I think that they've had enough practice, enough research done by the 2 of them, so that way they can actually clutch it up today. And I think they'll be able to get the top 6.
My only question is, you know, is it cold maybe, like just kind of playing in the heat of the moment? Is it scented? Someone's, you know, holding, I think, back one or the other right now in these final settings while the pressure is high. You wouldn't think Scented would be the one who's kind of crumbling under the pressure, but he's the one who's gone down first every time we've basically seen these battles go down. So I don't know if it's Cold being a little bit more passively playing passive, right? Not necessarily there, hip to hip, going for the confidence fights, because that's kind of what plays the biggest part. But you know, only time will tell. 4 more games to pick up victory royale or place top 6 is the most consistent before we really start to figure things out here. Over at the Bugle, Macwood clutches up alongside Donnie. Big eliminations there. It was almost all over. Looked like it was, you know, disaster knocking on Donnie's door there. But for a moment, he manages to, you know what, shoo him away and stay there with Macwood's help.
Yeah, 2 early eliminations for Macwood. Looks like they are going to be and fighting Polarize and Nico at one when they make it all spawn. And as you can see, there are only 2 returning duos from the previous FNCS Duos Finals. Who are they?
There are only 2 returning duos from the previous FNCS Duos Finals. My gosh, how long ago was that?
Wow.
What teams are sticking with one another? We'll go Pamsto and Batch.
And then I wonder if it's in this session only, because we got Dubs and Mega, right? Like, they are still a duo.
True.
There we go. Oh.
Hey, Dubs and Mega. Good call, good call.
Yeah,
he got an Elite. Hey,
yep.
Man. Punching in.
Dubs and Mega Man, all the way back to World Cup. They've been together for a very long time. They actually aren't in this session, but they will be in tomorrow's session on Saturday.
Yep.
In the semifinals because of how the seeding works. Basically, we're going to have 11 players qualify through today and then replaced by the next seeded 11 players tomorrow, and that's where Dubs and Mega fall.
They were great, but just not good enough to be here in this first attempt. These guys, the guys that you're watching play today, have the best odds, right? Just have the best odds at making it so far. So all of them will have, you know, these extra rounds, which could be the difference here. You know, simple things, right? Even just playing it out, getting a feel for the competition, knowing what the pacing is going to be like. I mean, I'm sure no one was expecting that first game to have 94 players alive, right? Then all of a sudden now we're seeing how teams are mixing it up here, being a little bit more proactive coming into this early game. But we're stepping ourselves one moment closer now into or what will be the mid-game. So Surge is definitely active here. You can see the warning starting to pop up. 160 damage below for some. Jackson and Taco here are looking to go and change that into the box. He goes. He doesn't even blink, doesn't even hesitate, and tees off here. Catches teed with just a quick elimination right there. Not only that, look at the loadout. He didn't have anything. That was like barely any bullets left inside the SMG, but he makes work of it.
Yeah, that was a do or be eliminated moment right there. And he was like, listen, I'm going to choose to do today as J-Man falls what looked like was a couple more floors than I had thought so, but actually only takes 22 damage from that fall damage there. But he's getting pressured from every which way. Storm Surge, fall damage, team to his north, team to his south. Not a good situation, but does find the reset here. Finds his teammate Day Fan.
Pretty rough. I saw on the feed there, Fable Taco goes down as well.
Yeah.
The hands of, it seems like Owl was the one who picked up that elimination. Goofy's down now too. Nosh is left by himself here to defend up this game here, trying to make the best of it. 18 damage above the surge, but the storm is ticking here, and it's starting to do a little bit of a 2-tick. Out he goes. Did he time it correctly? Yeah, he'll have just enough, but down to 4 more ticks would have been the difference there. This is so risky. Oh, this is so risky. Finds a med miss. Okay. Okay, wait a second. No. Oh, I was going to say, did it go into zone? Are you kidding me? Like...
And here we go, something that we haven't seen in a while, okay? And I know this is going to be, you know, talking a little bit of smack on him, but Scented and Cold find 2 eliminations. They're 262 damage above. Now we might be able to see a solid game out of these two, and I am really hoping that we do, because we know how good they are in the game. Scented, known as the low ground king. I want to see what they can do when they get to that position. They just had troubles in their early and the middle game, so let's see how they end up faring throughout this middle game.
I was going to say, if there's any commentator who could talk a little bit of smack, it's definitely Vivid, guys, all right? He's been in the trenches. He's got his war stripes. Okay, so pressure's on for Scented and Cold here. Yes, good on them. They got a couple elims. Here's the highlight package of just, again, the surge package, what went down in that last fight. Those were great eliminations right there, by the way. Quick and easy, clean elims. That's what we expect of a top-tier, top-caliber team like this. And now... Sights on Nosy here.
Yeah, and making some observations about how Scented and Cold have been playing, I feel like it really comes down to decisiveness. I feel like we always, you know, hail these players for making decisive right decisions. And honestly, Scented is making some decisive decisions. I just don't think that they've been the right one. So he either needs to, 1, kind of reset, rethink the decisions he's making, or 2, they need to just make decisions a little bit slower. They need to take a step back, really assess the situation, because we know how smart he is. We know that he can make good assessments. But I just don't think that right now he's making them as quickly as he's making decisions. So if he can get some resets in there, then I think that they are going to be chilling, and we'll learn as the games go along for sure. And Macwood and Anya over here trying his hardest to grab some loot with these web shooters.
I mean, when you see that much just sitting there, you kind of are tempted to. Macwood is just completely out in the open there. Day on the other side, though, trying to fight his way through, finds himself a second elimination. This is on to Dusky now. Little payback for the team that was pressuring him a bit earlier there. So these are fights that have been dragged out and drug into the new safety of the line now. Once again, just favoring and housing all of these players. Coney Crossroads has the crossroads of sorts. Yes, tons of players here settling down. We take another quick glimpse here. Here's what happened. Dusky and crew try to jump inside the box. Mistakes were made, though, as Clicks and Day masterfully back up, outposition them, and just outgun them in the 1-to-1 head-to-head situation, both of which pick up their own individual elims. Now, again, these spicy splashes coming into play here. You're seeing how having the excess mobility, that extra mobility can come in handy, but repeat performance from last game. Wait a second. Big pressure coming in.
Oh.
No, who was that?
Assault.
Low? Oh, gosh.
Listen, Day getting a little lazy there. Does not put a roof on top of his head when he gets beamed in the back, and a player just finds himself right into the box with a little bit of piece control. But interestingly enough, he gets pickaxed, and then the player just kind of like, all right, I disrespected you. I'm kind of out of here now. And Day's going to be getting a quick res in there, and they're going to be on their way, but not an easy task ahead of them, because if we're looking at the zone, there are some hills ahead of them, and a lot of players are posting up, hungry for some Storm Surge. They don't want to be put into a bad situation. Ooh, interesting decision here to rift. A lot of players will start looking up in the sky. I wonder if these players will make it out of this safely.
I don't know. Census got his eyes on the prize here, but no shots are going to connect here. Another player down right there. Okay, so that might just be a pickup here. Cold now turns focus to the left side. These are teams that still have to rotate too. Their time is ticking. No, actually, they might just be on the outer edge. But it's shots like that that can force the lobby to start looking in and maybe deciding, you know what, we're going to pressure them too. Then all of a sudden, everyone's firing at you. Qual and Quanti are just in the perfect position to get lobby focused. AMT on the other side, though, taking a battle too. This is a close range fight here. The last time we saw Princess Wolf and AMT in this kind of situation, they were actually eliminated. So we might be seeing their first elims, their first moments of success here on stream, on the big stage. Blasto gets taken out, so okay, they managed to get the lobby's attention in here. Wolf is going to step on up.
Love that. Love how they played that. They weren't quick to just kind of jump in the box, right? He got the knock, and you might be thinking, oh, 2v1 situation, go for the other elim, but no. Well aware that there are easy tags, some easy elims, and they just kind of chill in the safety of their own builds, let those players get rooted out by the other players in the lobby just by spraying them in the back. And I've seen Clix and Day pick up a couple elims as it's developed, so they are just running through the lobby right now.
Yeah, look, another one onto Taco there, and Jackson too. Another finish. My gosh, as Pamstu looked like he took out Polarize as well. Big names clashing left and right. You know, again, this is the nature of Fortnite, and we knew where Clix was. Clix is that he was on the western portion of this zone, so they do not have the safety of the zone. I'm assuming they were looking in at the pocket of these players down at the southern area, forcing those shots down range, and they just stole a few elims of other players that were clashing against one another because it doesn't seem like there's much chaos around them. Now, though, Macwood has to make us rotate. Clix and Day here have to move as well, too. Look at that. They end up on top of all these other opponents, and now the zone is just north of them. Look at this. When we last checked in with Clix, Clix had like 40 or 60 ammo inside the AR, now up to 500. So the perfect type of situation where you find a refresher. But not only that, it's the mythic MK7. It's the big boy weapon. We saw the pros talking about it in the pre-show. This is probably the best weapon you can have in your hands in endgame, in early game, in any position, honestly.
Yeah, I love this though, man. Look at this. They have 5 eliminations, and you might be thinking, they got to be chilling. They got to be so good. But no, look, Day's got 22 total builds. They are just such a momentum-based team. If they find one elimination, they're not even like chilling anymore because they used so much to actually get it, but they did it in such a good way. They just got to keep that momentum rolling. So interesting to see how they're going to take hold of this end game here. And Scented and Cold, this is what we're going to see. It looks like they're going to make it into the end game. They do have a launch pad to use. It'll be interesting to see if they use it here on this first moving zone. Looking for the piece control, finds it. Ooh, barely misses that left wall there, and only takes a return of 19 damage. But he's still chilling. But again, you know, it does have that launch pad, and the first moving zone is coming up. I think they use it because Scented and Cold haven't had an end game in a long time. We know that they're good at it. I think they just get themselves there and don't try to greed anything. And I think that they can run away with this from the low ground.
In the feed, I saw Quanti fall as well. I had a brief little glimpse of my pick, Knifer and Byla, still in this game too. So there's other people to continue to keep your eyes on. Here's 20 and Reciprocal. Day. Clicks now. Tying them up. Trying to decide, do we rotate? Do we take the fight here? Just have to go ahead and possibly switch layers. They don't have much to work with. Great shots coming out here from Day and Clicks now. Tags, everything being traded. Crunchy's going to find Cold there. Muzz falls as well. These are big exchanges. Once again, remember, consistency is your second best friend here. Scented finds Sparebow. Okay.
And he's got a good loadout here as a solo. You know, he's got the chug passes. Don't want to be in a box with another player when you are a solo, though. But 3 peppers to work with, 75 total math, and he's actually just able to run through a lot of these builds and not even use any of his own. So that was really well played. I think that Sented's got a good opportunity here to solo clutch for his duo and get something rolling for them.
I mean, at the very least, there is points to be made here. This is the end game now, guys. With every team that falls, there's going to be positioning rewarded to players that have managed to stay alive here. Day on a layer with a few players, so that's going to be a shield crack. It's off to Pamstu, and that is the terrible spot to be in there. Out they go. They managed to change a few layers. You know, just slipping out of the grips of Day and Clicks here, who are on fire. They're hungry for a refresh, hungry for elimination. Someone gets caught up. It's Avery. Nice. Sorry, buddy. You're not going to escape this one. Not today, not here. unleashing, everyone clears out. They start clearing out the room.
Is a solo as well left in this game. Back over here to Clicks and Day. They're looking for these aggressive elims. Like I said, they are such a momentum-based team. They never really like to just settle in and box up. They like to just keep going, and it's working so well. Finding an elimination.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't necessarily his, but going to be finding the refresh nonetheless, and he's going to be finding himself some mats. Going to drop him over to Clicks as Day actually goes down. Clicks left to do it as a solo.
No, that's unfortunate, but look at this. He's going to drop all the loot there. That's one of those mechanic changes there. You are able to pick up your friend's heals, and this is going to give him at least a small win condition and a couple more moments. And there it is, the most important thing, picking up that med miss, but High Ground is looking in. Clicks gets a little brief glimpse of what's going on up above for a second there. Decision to jump in the vehicle, but he says, no, I'm taking the foot control here. Here's a player that's weak. It's Rokane into the box. He goes, misses a shot, doesn't hit the second one either. No siphon to keep him alive, and down he goes inside the top three. Pure and Crunchy on height. One build left for Pure. They have to come down here. Luckily, there are buildings to play off of, and this is going back into Coney Crossroads. Now, we've seen the zone already start here, so these are a bunch of old player builds. User and Threats are in the best position now to go on and refarm some material. This is actually one of the few times that High Ground is at a disadvantage now. Crunchy and Pure barely have anything to work off of as far as recycling material here, Vivid.
Yeah, and Threats and Users are going to be refarming as much as they can of this building and applying pressure to the build, trying to break them out here because they know they got to be low on the builds, on the high ground. You don't find any builds up there, and Threats will go crazy here, try to show off his team the best. He just hit every single shot, cleans it up. Victory Royale, place in the grand finals for Threats and Users there.
We love to see that as well. Threats and Users won. Again, caster favorites and picks here. We've definitely been keeping an eye out on them. Vets in the space, and a team that has been consistent up until now as well. Take a look at how Threats and Users walks home with the victory out here in the end. No builds. He just goes toe-to-toe, believes in the gunplay, and ends up winning that one out there, finding the great last shot onto Crunchy. GG's for Users. And Man City Stars, they punch their way to finals here, straight out of semis in game number 2.
Let's go. And that was so clean. I love how you mentioned that. Like, this is one of those opportunities where Higher Ground is actually at a disadvantage, and you really got to pay attention to your mats. That's why we saw Day earlier actually drop off of the Higher Ground. Wasn't sure in his ability to clutch that game out with only 12 builds, so he goes for more of an aggressive play. And Threats and Users well aware of the possibility that those players are out of mats and takes full advantage of it. Just aim, duels everybody, and wins out.
Yeah, definitely. We've been there before. Other notable teams, they'll start to make a comeback, a little swing for the fences here as players are trying to rack up some points. Let's toss on over to Desk. Give us the standings. Let us know where we stand right now. It's getting crazy.
Oh, what a way to have a game number 2 end like that. The low ground there working for Threats and Users. We thought they were going to go all the way there and do something special. What with the clout they've had in the past from kind of previous FNCS and such, and SBG, they did exactly that. They went all the way and saw it out and confirmed their place in the finals.
Yeah, some solid low ground play from these guys, and typically this is not what we've seen thus far this season during FNCS, but ultimately it came down to a lack of mats on both sides. Threats and Users, I mean, we see the pure aim from Threats, just knocking every shot that he can get and taking home the dub here, Sundown.
Yeah, you have to play with what you're given, and so far we've seen if you're just able to eke out enough control and make it to the end, like that was a fair 2v2, but right now NAce and Manchester both painted blue. Man City Threats 33 Users going through, Threats putting up a phenomenal performance as well, and that's what it's going to take to get into the finals, because so far we've seen some pretty good individual efforts, some pretty good duos, but you have to put it all together or come up huge. That's basically been the only 2 win conditions so far we've seen out of EU and NA East.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great point as well to talk about kind of, things have to be in your favor. You need things in front of you. And sometimes you just need to put on a special performance in the moment. And we saw that from Clicks and Day, particularly Day there we saw on the feed for a while there. And just seeing going ham, going at it. I think at one stage we're down to 4 mats and knew he had to continue driving through the builds to keep in the game ultimately, because you need those so desperately towards the end. And they just did such a great job, SPG, of remaining in there and putting on quite a show as well.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This team just thrives on the chaos that they create in these end games, just finding people, creating teams in poor situations, and then jumping in on them. I mean, Day makes plays that you're like, oh, what is that? Why are you doing that? And then it's like, oh, okay, you have 2 elims. That was maybe a good play for no one else but him. And time and time again, he does it, makes himself look so good.
Yeah, he's a playmaker. He's able to manufacture eliminations and plays out of what seemingly might be nothing, but he has good spatial awareness, and I think he has better timing. He knows when he's able to take advantage of players, and in a normal circumstance, to be looking at their first 2 game performance and you're like, hey, this is pretty good. We've racked up a number of elims, but they need to keep that train rolling. As we've seen, the top 6 always finds a way of creeping it up, and so far, despite their good effort, they haven't really been that close to a victory royale.
Indeed. Let's take a look and see exactly who has got the VRs so far today. 2 games down, 3 to go. You can see from our first game, Shadow and Me2 went through, but in game number 2, Users and Threats, they have made it. The boys rotating out of Condo Canyon have now cleared out, as they'll be going all the way through straight to the finals, and does open up now that POI, which we think is uncontested right now, so maybe a team might change up proceedings and head there. SBG, the standings with our 2 teams that have gone through, subtracted. Talk us through the points right now.
Oh yeah, we see Donnie and Macwood still hanging out there in first place. Day and Clicks able to push themselves up to 7th with that performance. But Jochi and Rokane, pretty much a surprise. We didn't really see too much of them, but 10 elims already, a lot of placement points. They're a team to watch out for consistency because they're rolling.
Yeah, and there's a lot of duos we can mention up there. You have Yoz and Oki, Slacks and Clarity. You have Day and Clicks also on there. Just outside, there was a decent drop-off from 8th to 9th, but all of these teams still plenty of Fortnite to be played with 3 matches left. You can see TNA, Muzz, C9, Avery, as well as Wanted, Mubuka, Peterbot, and Quanti, who had a very unfortunate little bit of split in that first game. I mean, it's anybody's name, as well as Nexy and Wrigley. Nexy's had a phenomenal individual performance so far in the NA East FNCS, so they're all just right kind of in that top 6 range. Again, eyes are on the Victory Royale, but with 3 matches left to play, we're going to start keeping an eye on kind of what that top 6 looks like.
Definitely. Obviously, 5 games today rather than 6. So we often say that the game 3, 4 is when teams start to kind of reevaluate and kind of maybe approach things differently. We're in game 3. We're kind of almost in the second half here now. So teams need to step up, make it count, because there's only a few opportunities left to get those victory royales to progress immediately through to finals next weekend. Let's head back into the action. It's game 3 coming your way. MDF, Vivid, what do you got for us, boys? Let's go.
I mean, we're seeing it unfold right here. People are clocking out, right? Shift's almost over, guys. There's only 3 more games left, Vivid. A few more opportunities to get that easy win. Maybe not easy, but the straight pass to finals, the quick win there. Otherwise, you have to continue to stay consistent, which some of our big dogs have not so far.
Yeah, the story there has got to be Macwood and Donnie finding themselves at the top of the leaderboard. We talked about how they just got to find themselves off a spawn, and they'll be good. And actually, Polarized and Nico, I believe they were in 9th on the leaderboard too, so it's actually working out for both of those teams. So interesting to see how Daily Bugle, if they'll change it up, maybe Nico and Polarized aren't too happy with how Storm Surge going, get a little bit more aggressive because they know they can stomp out Macwood and Donnie.
Yeah, definitely. That Storm Surge is always going to be a pesky one for the players here. It's just that thing, right? You have to take a battle, but how far are you willing to take that fight? Once you get a couple tags, maybe you have the advantage. For some, that's the difference maker, right? We've seen players get taken out early. Like, for a second there, Cold and Scented, right? Losing Scented early in that game and then trying to claw back in. You know, those are those, again, unfortunate situations you can find yourself in for trying to get to those fights. But it looks like the battle bus is here and game 3 is underway. So let's go ahead and hop on in and check out what we got.
And here we go. 3 more games left today to prove yourselves worthy of an FNCS Grand Finals. And right off the bat, Sprite's like, listen, I am worthy of Greasy Grove. It is mine, Agers and Rise. Please leave.
We saw that last game. We saw Agers catch Nounsy first inside the elimination feed. This time, Observers is like, nope, we're not missing it. We're starting there right away, and we catch it. But before we even get to get the full scope of what went down, Sprite and Nounsy find themselves 2 quick eliminations. Reciprocal and 20, though, they've been in a battle just head-to-head against Rhythm and Crew here. And you know what? They're doing a pretty decent job at it, if I do say so myself. 64 points now. That's 2 games in a row. They at least stood just consistent enough, making it not only out of this drop, but into somewhat of an end game here. But for the first time now, we're watching the cards be dealt out, and maybe it's not in their favor in full here. 20 lit up here, no shield, and Rhythm finds himself the full keg to play off of as well, so he's going to get max HP here shortly. This is not looking too good. I do wonder, is he he just gonna back out here, maybe give him this one and come back a little later for the reboot card?
Ooh, 20 finds the quick knock there on the Shiesty. And let me tell you something here. If Reciprocal didn't actually quote-unquote donate that keg there, then this would be a much easier clutch situation here for 20. Gotta pay attention though. Paying close attention to the roofs. Gunplay going down. Rhythm down to 17 HP. One more bullet, and it's going to be Raps. 20 tries to find it, but not going to be landing that last and final shot, and Rhythm clutches up with the green pistol.
Came down to the difference of 17 HP, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. So unfortunate for 20, and great job for Rhythm and Shiesty to stay in the game right now. Jumping on over to Covert Kevin. It looks like... Okay, so it really does look like Scented and Cole have completely, you know, foregone the whole drop spot of Sleepy